epic scary movie.
Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants? Just in case he got a hole in one. What's up, YouTube? Zero here, and today I have the Munsters movie review. Now, the Munsters is a relatively new movie on Netflix. This is a remake, sort of the classic. Of course, this is a movie. The classic, way back when, was a TV show. And the director is Rob Zombie of this new Munsters movie. What's odd about that is the Munsters is a horror comedy. For those of you who know Rob Zombie in a movie sense, you'll know him to be dealing with blood, guts, gore, and maybe even a little bit of sex thrown in there. So this is a complete 180 from what Rob Zombie is typically used to. But before I get into it, I do want to say, if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. For more movie reviews, I do mystery box unboxings, and I also have video game content if you're into that. But without further ado, it's time to get spooky on this horror comedy review of the Munsters. First, let's talk about the movie. Now, this is an introduction to the Munsters. How did they begin? You're going to see the creation of Herman Munster, Sheri Moon Zombie playing Lily Munster, getting together with Jeffrey Daniel Phillips, Herman Munster. And it is a nice dive into the beginnings of the Munsters. So I do want to give props to Rob Zombie for that. Now let's talk about the actors and actresses that I just mentioned, because if you're not aware of Rob Zombie movies, you may have never heard of them before. So I'm going to break out my handy dandy notebook and talk about a few of the main characters in the Munsters. Now, I just mentioned Sheri Moon Zombie plays Lily. Now, if you've watched a Rob Zombie movie before, you're going to know that Sheri Moon Zombie is in all of them. That's probably how you keep your marriage together in Hollywood, is when you're a director casting your wife in all of your movies. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. To be honest, I do like Sheri Moon Zombie as an actress, especially in the role she plays in Rob Zombie's movies. This movie is no exception. Now, I'm not saying that she's going to win an Oscar for her role as Lily Munster, but I am saying I did enjoy her role as Lily Munster, and she did a decent job. Now, Jeff Daniel Phillips is another actor where, if you know Rob Zombie movies, you'll know he pretty much cast these same actors and actresses in every one of his movies. Jeff Daniel Phillips is another actor who Rob Zombie has casted in a lot of his movies, such as 3 from Hell, 31, and Lords of Salem. Now, in this movie, Jeff Daniel Phillips plays Herman Munster. And again, he does a good job. I'm not saying he's going to win an Oscar. No actors or actresses in this movie are, but he does a decent job, and I enjoyed his character, Herman Munster, like I enjoyed Lily. Both did a great job. Both had some nice, funny moments and some other decent moments as well. Now, the third main actor that I want to talk about is Daniel Roebuck, who plays Grandpa Munster. He also does a decent job, and again, like all of Rob Zombie casting, was in a couple of previous Rob Zombie movies, such as 31 and The Legend of El Super Beasto. Now, Daniel Roebuck has had a little bit more of a long career, if you will. He's also played in The Fugitive and Final Destination. So now that I've talked about the acting and where some of the actors and actresses, you may have seen them, how it's been, let's talk about the story. Again, this is really a forming of the Munsters. This is a backstory. How did they end up on Mockingbird Lane? How did they come together? And I enjoyed the backstory. Now, while I did enjoy the entire story, the movie itself just felt a little short. Could it have used an extra 30 minutes to an hour? Yeah, probably. It just wasn't enough. When the movie ended, I just felt that it abruptly ended. I said, wait, that was the end of the movie? Now, throughout the movie, I enjoyed some of the humor moments, and it was a fun ride. But getting to the end of that movie and it just ending, I had to ask myself, what happened? So now, if you've seen my previous movie reviews, I do like to go over what some of the prominent sites have rated this movie at, and then I want to get into my rating. So let's talk about some of the big hitters. Rotten Tomatoes. As of right now, of course, these ratings can always change as more people review these videos. Rotten Tomatoes has a 48% from critics and a 35% from the audience. So both scores are rotten. Metacritic is a little bit better. 57 for the critics and a 5.7 from the audience. So really spot on each other when we're talking about Metacritic. And finally, I like to talk about Imdb, which right now sits at a 4.6 stars out of 10. So those ratings, on first glance, you say, they're not that great. Normally me, I look for a 6 and above as being a decent movie. And so that's where I'm actually going to put this Munsters as. I'm going to put it at a 6 out of 10. Now, I'm not saying this is a fantastic movie, and again, it's not without its flaws. The acting was decent, nothing spectacular. The direction, this was a good start for Rob Zombie into the horror comedy realm. Again, he's known for a lot of the blood, gore, violence with your 3 from Hell, your House of a Thousand Corpses, your Halloween. But this is a good dive into the horror comedy for Rob Zombie, and I enjoyed it. Again, the direction wasn't bad. The story ended a little too quickly for me. It could have used a little bit more, another 30 minutes. But I'm hoping that there is a Munsters 2 and a Munsters 3, because this was a good start, and I can see myself pulling this movie up every Halloween season. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. But let me know in the comments section what you think about this Munsters movie. Did you enjoy it? Or was it something that you're never going to watch again? Do you regret watching it once? I want to know in the comments section. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay spooky. Peace.